Welcome to Access Asia. I'm Molly Hall. Coming up in the show, we head to Bangladesh to find out how textile working conditions have changed since the Rana Plaza disaster. Plus, refusing to sell, homeowners in China take their stance against real estate developers. And roaring back, we look at how conservation efforts in India are helping to save Rajasthan's big cats. But first, it was the worst industrial disaster in Bangladesh's history. 2 years ago, the Rana Plaza factory collapsed, killing over 1,100 workers. Well, now charges have been brought against 42 people, including government officials. And the owner of the complex has been indicted with murder. Well, the disaster exposed the grim conditions in Bangladesh's garment industry, and top brands, well, they promised better working standards. We return to the country to find out what's changed in the time since.
Firoza Begum was 2 months pregnant and working on the 5th floor when the Rana Plaza gave way. Today, all that's left of the once bustling commercial site is a murky green pond.
I have no memory of that day. The only thing I can recall is total darkness. I can't understand how I survived while so many others perished.
8 stories high, the Rana Plaza collapsed, killing 1,135 of Firoza's co-workers. It was a disaster waiting to happen. Overloaded, breached safety guidelines and poor construction led to one of the deadliest industrial catastrophes in history. Despite the scale of the tragedy, for Firoza, conditions haven't improved much since.
I can't imagine that tragedy would strike twice, but when I look around me, it seems possible. I feel so sad. How many people have to die to bring about change? We have no power. Living in poverty means we're forced to work for these people. They're the worst people on earth.
With an estimated turnover of $18 billion per year and 4 million employees, the textile industry in Bangladesh took a hard hit in the wake of the collapse. Now on the upswing, according to this textile factory owner, business is booming. 300 people work here sewing Western brands.
What about the Lee Cooper brand? This is for Lee Cooper.
Giving us a tour of the grounds, the owner is quick to point out the safety measures in place.
Firefighting equipment here, fire blankets, fire gloves, masks. This is fire alarm in every floor.
But there are still shortcomings.
Smoke detector. We opened it because battery is down. We need to change the batteries. Okay. That's why.
Emergency exits are too narrow and mostly padlocked. Electrical fittings aren't properly secured, and bars block each window. Little, if anything, has been modified since the Rana Plaza tragedy.
If you want to improve anything, you can improve anywhere. You can make the stair bigger, but is this a structural? I cannot do it now. Then we have to renovate the whole building again.
We're not allowed to ask these workers what they think. Any distractions are considered counterproductive. Employees are paid €59 per month and work 50 hours a week. One thing to come out of Rana Plaza was the formation of a workers' union. They're meeting this evening to share their experiences.
The boss intimidates us by asking why we want to know about our rights. He claims that we don't know what's good for us. We want to be more active within the union, but he says he'll fire us.
Employees don't get any extra benefits for working nights, nor do they receive health coverage and maternity leave.
They're systematically stripping back the rights of workers. They refuse to even give us an egg for lunch. If you can produce 80 pieces a day, the day after they expect 100.
A seamstress since she was 12, union founder Kapana Akhtar says international brands are not being held accountable.
If this brand, who is telling now these days that they have taken responsibility to make this factory safer, now they are a good brand, they are not. They just respond to all those bad publicity happen after Rana Plaza.
Western retailers have been criticised for allegedly not doing enough to ensure safety at factories. The companies linked to Rana Plaza include Mango, Benetton and French retailer Auchan.
Now they're known in China as nail houses, buildings that remain standing despite pressure from real estate developers to sell. Well, a symbol of resistance by Chinese homeowners, they've become increasingly common. The result can be odd visual combination of a vintage home nestled among modern high-rises or shopping malls. And some homes, well, they even stand on newly paved roads, forcing drivers to take detours around them. Luke Schrago reports.
Picture this. You're on your way somewhere taking the motorway when suddenly you come right to a house's front door. Did you take a wrong turn? No. The road continues around the back as before. It's a problem large enough to have a name, nail homes, referring to a stubborn nail that can't easily be removed from a piece of wood. With China's rapid pace of development and expansion of towns and cities, new land is always needed. Despite expropriations, compensation, even threats, though, these homeowners just won't move out of their communities.
Expropriations, sure, as long as it's legal. Even to build a public road. It's not for me to make every sacrifice. I didn't build my house in the middle of the road, it's the road that came to my door. So let me live. Survive, even.
Both water and electricity have been cut off, but Mrs. Lu's going the distance.
We don't use this room anymore. Look, the windows were broken in the middle of the night. They could come back at any moment. This has been going on for 4 years. It's like life's on pause.
She's not alone. Residents of the rapidly vanishing local village are all behind her, with at least one who's leading the charge.
I have defended my country on every front, but I haven't even been able to defend my own home.
There's nothing left of the former soldier's house but rubble now. Out of 3,000 residents, only 400 are refusing to buckle, dismissing pressure and offers alike. But neither their resistance or their thrown stones are preventing the diggers from moving in. There's a great sense of anger in what remains of the village. The residents laid into a minor Communist Party official after he showed up to see what was going on. People are reaching the end of their tether, but still they stand together, united in the face of opposition, both official and otherwise.
With fewer than 2,500 Bengal tigers left in the wild, the big cat is an endangered species. Well, for years now, India has tried to protect the prized animal and reverse the effects of years of poaching. Well, once a royal hunting ground, Ranthambore Reserve is now a national park, and its tiger population is slowly growing. Olivia Salazar-Winspear reports on how conservation efforts there are paying off.
A telltale paw print can only mean one thing. The wild tiger known as T39 passed through here recently.
This is the area of T39. This is the female. So we can say this is the pugmas of T39.
To get up close to one of the park's 58 tigers, you have to go deep into the reserve. This group of tourists is in search of these rare specimens. Silence is crucial to hear the cries of other animals who can provide clues as to the presence of tigers. Just 5 minutes later, uninhibited by the noise of the safari cars, a female and her 3 offspring appear. Each one of these tigers weighs in at over 100 kilos and can run at speeds of over 50 kilometers an hour.
And they were coming right up to the truck. It was amazing. We got fabulous pictures.
And he was maybe 15, a big male, about 15 feet away, lying down and just looking at me. And I said, "Tiger."
Today, India is home to the largest population of tigers in the world. But for many years, the Bengal tiger was at serious risk of extinction. A few months ago, the reserve carried out a census. Cameras were installed around the park. From them, they discovered that over the last 4 years, the tiger population had grown by 30%. Proof that the ecosystem here is healthy, although living alongside humans is a little more complicated.
I saw the tiger when tiger was 8 to 10 feet away from me. Just he emerged like that. And he was so aggressive. He jumped on me and took that hand. And this whole portion, this one, you can see. This.
Nevertheless, the tigers have contributed to the local economy, with more people employed in the tourism sector. Instead of poaching, local people now produce and sell arts and crafts to visiting animal lovers.
It was difficult to make them understand that why the tiger is important alive than dead. We can connect the tiger with their daily lives, like Ranthambore is giving employment opportunities because of tourism to almost 10,000 people. That means 10,000 families.
Looking ahead, the park rangers are eager to build on the progress they've already made.
Now we are in the second stage of conservation, that protecting the corridors and developing the corridors so that animals can move through and they can go to other areas which can become tiger habitats.
High hopes that the reserve will continue to flourish, although the tiger population is only a fraction of what it was a century ago, when 45,000 of them existed in India.
Well, that's it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time on Access Asia.